Shalom, shalom, Israel. First, giving honor to the Most High and His Son, Yahawashi. I do apologize in advance. Allergies been acting up with me today, so but let's get right to it. Today's class, communication is important, and that's all across the board. Whether it be with your brothers and sisters, whether it be within your household, with you and your wife, with your family, communication is important. It's the cornerstone to things, and it's something that we take for granted or we don't use altogether. But we're gonna hop right into it. Give me Romans 15:4.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4.
Read.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
Remember, this is a very, 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 very important thing. This is our heritage. This is the blueprint. This is the knowledge and information we need to progress and become better versions of ourselves. We say these things that were written aforetime, read,
were written for our learning.
And it's time for us to start learning. It's time for us to start taking heed to the information. It's time for us to start taking heed to the knowledge so we can gain that wisdom and understanding. Read.
That we through patience and comfort of the scripture.
That we through patience, which is something that we lack patience when it comes to communication. If the communication between you and another person ain't going the way that you want it to go, you shut down. Or if it's not going the way that you want it to go, you get angry. If it ain't going the way that you want to go, you just up and leave. And you gotta have patience. Read it again, bro.
That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Might have hope. So let's get into it. Ephesians 4:29.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth.
He said, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. Communication is important. But what you say is just as important. What you don't say is just as important. What you decide to feed is very important. Read it again, bro.
Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth.
So when we're communicating with each other, we need to make sure that we are clear and concise. We need to make sure that we are delivering everything wholeheartedly. So there's no room left for assumptions. There's no room left for someone to not get the full scope. There's no room for mistakes. There's no room for breaches. Read.
But that which is good.
But that what?
But that which is good.
But that which is good. Read.
To the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearer.
That it may administer grace to the hearer. That the one that is listening may be able to gain the understanding that you're trying to give. That you all will be able to come to an agreement. That y'all will be able to be on the same picture, same page, on one accord. Without that, there's issues. Without that, there's problems. Without that, there's breaches. Without that, nothing is good. Nothing is going the way that you need it to go. It's up in the airs. It's in flames. Give me Proverbs 13:1. Let me get there with you, bro. The book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse 1. Read that, bro.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse 1. A wise son heareth his father's instruction, but a scorner heareth not rebuke.
So, in essence of communication, counseling is a form of communication.
That's right.
If you don't have understanding on a matter, counseling is a form of communication. It is there to give light, to make things easier, to bring that light where you are seemingly feel like you're in the dark, where there's no understanding, where you feel like there's nothing for you to see. That counseling is going to make that picture bright. It's going to remove the fogginess from your lenses. Read.
A man shall eat good by the fruit of his mouth.
Read it again, bro.
A man shall eat good by the fruit of his mouth.
Read.
But the soul of the transgressors.
But what?
But the souls of the transgressors.
Read.
Shall eat violence.
So that's going into that corrupt communication. That's going into not saying anything. That's going into not being choice with your words. That's going into being petty. That's going into being a babbler. That's going into being a busybody. That's going into all of these things, man. Sowing seeds of discourse, feeding defiled bread, man. Read.
He that keepeth his mouth.
He that what?
Keepeth his mouth.
He that what?
Keepeth his mouth.
Read.
Keepeth his life.
Keepeth what?
Keepeth his life.
So when you dealing with communication, when you are trying to gain understanding, if you are in a relationship, there has to be common ground. Both of y'all have to be on the same accord. Both of y'all have to know what's going on. Both of y'all have to know the ins and the outs. Else you're not going to be able to operate on 100. It say, read it again, bro. He that what?
He that keepeth his mouth. Keepeth his life.
And that's keeping your mouth from feeding that corrupt communication. That's keeping your mouth from feeding that discourse. That's keeping your mouth from being petty and in arguments and disputes instead of trying to get down to the bottom to the underlying issue. Y'all flying off the handle and pushing the buttons for each other to make each other mad or make each other fly off the handles. He said, keep it your mouth. Read.
But he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction.
So when you don't watch your mouth, what you say, how you say, and when you say it, it's going to cause a bigger problem than what it is. So instead of a simple communication or a simple conversation, now it's turned into yelling bouts. Now it's turned into screaming bouts.
That's
now you
right.
got cussing and you got things flying, you got anger, you got physicality. All of these things are brought about. That mouth is a dangerous weapon, man. And how you use it is what's going to lead to the situations. Read.
The soul of the sluggard.
The what?
The soul of the sluggard.
The soul of that sluggard, man. If you don't want to rein in your mouth, if you just want to let both of these things fly off the handle, man, you've been slugging the spirit because you don't give a damn. Read.
The soul of the sluggard desire and have nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat.
Read.
O righteous man, hated lying.
Hold on, read it again.
O righteous man, hated lying.
I said that righteous man hated lying. So if you're in the midst of communication, if you're not speaking the full scope of it, if you're not giving all of the information, or if you're giving a false report, or if you're being, if you're what's the word I'm looking for? Just flat out lying. It's going to cause more problems than it is going to cause understanding. Read.
But a wicked man is loathsome and cometh to shame.
And coming to shame, man, when that lie is found out to be a lie, when all of that defiled bread that you've been feeding, when all of the discourse that you've been sowing blow up in your face, now you don't know what to do. Sitting on the corner kicking your feet because you don't know what to do.
That's right.
Trying to run things back in your mind and see how you could have played it differently because you messed up. Because you wasn't expecting this bomb to blow up in your face like it did. Because you wasn't thinking. Because you just wanted to fly off the handle. Because you wanted to be petty. Because you let that devil in your mind take over. You let that old man or that old woman come back and destroy that communication. Give me 2 Timothy 2:16. That's one thing Israel like to do. Israel like to talk, use that mouth, but ain't got nothing to back it up with.
That's right.
Ain't got nothing to show for it but problems, issues, situations, jail time, and hurt. Read that, bro.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 16. But shun profane and vain babbling.
He say shun it. Push it to the side. Don't even let it be an issue. Don't even bring it about. That babbling, man, that babbling goes into that line. It goes into that busybody. It goes into that defeat. It goes into these half-truths. It goes into information not being spread. That's when it comes to relationships. That's when it comes to businesses. That's when it comes to organizations. That's when it comes to anything that you do. Communication has to be a part of it. If information is not being passed amongst each other, things are not going to go smoothly. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be issues. There's going to be problems. There's going to be situations. There's going to be all of these things come about because information is not being passed. It's not being passed correctly. It's not being divulged, man. Read it again, bro.
But shun profane and vain babbling.
Read.
For they will increase unto more ungodliness.
It will do what?
Increase unto more ungodliness.
Ain't that what the same thing you just read? It say it would cause destruction. That's part of that wickedness, man. Let's go back. Proverbs 13 and 5.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 5. A righteous man hateth lying.
That righteous man not going to deal with that vain babbling, man. That deceit. Read.
But a wicked man is loathsome and cometh to shame.
And does what?
Cometh to shame.
That's why. They say it will increase unto more ungodliness. Read.
Righteousness keepeth him that is upright in the way, but wickedness overthroweth the sinner.
So when you're dealing with a relationship, or when you're dealing with a business, or when you're dealing with partners, or when you're dealing with contracts, when you're dealing with anything that requires communication, everything has to be on the up and up. Everything has to be clear and concise. Everything has to be understandable, so both parties can move accordingly. So all parts, all cylinders, all gears are moving and firing like they need to be. Read it again, bro. Verse 6. Stick with me, y'all.
Verse 6. Righteousness keepeth him that is upright in the way.
They say it's going to keep him because of that. The one that falls into that darkness, the one that falls into that wickedness, that's the one that's going to have that bomb blow up in their face. That's the one that's going to have those issues. That's the one that's going to continue to have those problems. Read.
But wickedness overthroweth the sinner.
Now give me Proverbs 18 and 21. It said, but wickedness overthroweth that sinner because of that mouth and how it's used. Read that, bro.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Read it again, bro.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Say death and life are in the power of the tongue. That's both of them, here and here. If you're trying to have a business, or if you're trying to have a successful relationship, death and life pertaining to that business, pertaining to that relationship, pertaining to this organization, pertaining to whatever you have going on, they say that tongue, death and life, whether it succeeds or whether it fails, is in the power of that tongue. Whether things get easier for you is in the power of that tongue. Whether things get worse, where things get way off to the point where you feel like you can't control things no more, it's all in the power of that tongue. It's what you said, what you didn't say, how you said, how you didn't say it. All of these moving parts that you didn't consider, you just went off the handle.
Right.
Before you even process the information, you already given an answer.
That's right.
Before you even think about what's been told to you, already in defense mode. Before any of these things, you jump off the porch. Give me Luke 6 and 43. Well, no, go back. Let's finish it out again. 21. My bad. I'm getting ahead of my stuff. Proverbs 18 and 21.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it.
And they that love it, whether it be life or whether it be death, read.
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
So if you're dealing with an organization or a business or a company, you want things to do well, right? You want things to be advantageous. You want things to prosper. You want things to grow. You want things to produce, right? Well then, how you go about that, what you say, the information you put out, especially if you got people that's working under you, the information that you give to them is vital for the inner workings of your business.
That's right.
And vice versa. If you want to have a successful relationship, both of y'all need to know what's up. Withholding information or giving half of the information or not listening to what's being said and jumping off the handle or completely ignoring what one party is trying to give, all of that's going to cause issues and problems. Because if you were dealing with something, you had somebody or you had something you wanted to say or get off, and the person that you're dealing with is nonchalant or just not even there, what is it going to make you do? It's either going to make you upset, It's either gonna make you shut down, it's either gonna make you angry, or you just gonna up and leave. I'm not dealing with this BS.
That's right.
Communication is very important.
That's right.
Without it, things crumble. Without it, things fall apart. Communication is very, very, very important. Information itself is very advantageous and important to any situation. Again, if you are a captain or a general or anybody that is governed over somebody's lives, whether it be a governor, a senator, a president, or whatever, if you have information on how to make things better and you don't use that information and everything goes to naught or falls apart, that's on you. A lack of information being passed around for people to be able to do their part. If you're in the military, or if you're in the army and you're guiding your troops, if you know that the enemy that you're dealing with cannot march across a desert, but you know your people are good, you know where the water sources are, you know where the food sources are, you know where everything is for your army to survive, what you gonna do? You're going to put your opposition in a situation where they cannot have a foothold. You're going to march them. You're going to have them march through the desert.
That's right.
So that means you get to save on the lives of your brothers and sisters. That means you get to save on the lives of your army. That means you get to have everything go the way you need it to. So your army, your brothers in arms, can make it back to their family.
That's right.
So what you thinking how it's going to operate in your relationship or your business? It's very important. Give me Luke 6:43 now. Let me get there with you, bro. I went too far. All right, go ahead.
The book of Luke, chapter 6 and verse 43.
Remember, death and life are in the power of the tongue, right? And you eat the fruit thereof. So what fruit are you producing? Read.
For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit.
So this is Yahawashi, man. He's giving them example, right? An analogy, right? He say, for a good tree bringeth forth, or bringeth not forth corrupt fruit. A good tree is not going to give you something bad. Read.
Neither doth a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit.
So something bad is not going to produce something good. Something good is not going to produce something bad. It doesn't work that way. So if you call yourself being good, or you call yourself walking in the light, but you out here causing passing false reports, or passing information that's not right, or passing half of information, or not passing information at all, or not saying this or not doing that, how could you consider yourself good if you got all of this corrupt communication, all of this bad fruit lying about?
That's right.
Even in a relationship, again, y'all not being on the same page.
That's
y'all
right.
Not speaking to each other. Y'all not communicating with each other. Y'all using past problems and situations over each other's head to gain a foothold, as if this is a debate or something.
That's right.
He say no good tree is gonna bring forth bad fruit. No corrupt tree is gonna bring forth good fruit. Read.
For every tree is known by his own fruit.
Is what?
For every tree is known by his own fruit.
He say every tree is gonna be known by that fruit. Read.
For of thorns men do not gather figs.
He say from them thorns, you're not gonna be able to gather figs. And that's very attestable. Dealing with them thorns, you ain't gonna get nothing good up out of it. Being on that land, working that land, lets you know them thorns got it out for you, partner.
That's right. That's right.
The thorns will rip the boots off your feet.
That's right.
The thorns will eat through your pants and your socks and leave you bloody.
That's right.
Ain't nothing good coming from that. Read it again, bro.
For of thorns men do not gather figs.
Read.
Nor of a bramble bush gather they grapes.
Read.
A good man out of the good treasure of his heart,
out of the good treasure of his mind, out of the good treasure of his spirit. Read.
Bringing forth that which is good.
He says it's going to bring forth that which is good. So if a man or a woman wants their relationship to be the best that it can be, or wants the relationship to get better from rocky roads, you're going to put forth the effort to make those things work. You're going to have that good communication. You're going to have that, you're going to be open-minded to being able to come together and figure out what's the best solution for things to move. That's being that good fruit. That's being that good tree producing that good fruit. Read.
And an evil man.
And a what?
And an evil man.
The man that don't want to listen. The man that just want to continue to bring strife. The man that want to continue to be petty. The sister that want to continue to be petty. The sister that want to continue to hold stuff over your head from 2 years ago that she told you that she done forgave you for, but she's still sitting on the information. She's still carrying that backpack with the rocks in it.
That's right.
Brother, you done called yourself your brew. Y'all done came into business together, but you done felt slighted from the brother. So now you causing the business to go down because you ain't want to talk to him. You ain't want to come to an understanding of what's going on between y'all so y'all can make things work. Not only now are you hurting yourself, but you're hurting your brother as well.
That's right.
Both households gonna crumble. Instead of 5-minute conversation, getting to the bottom of it, fixing it, growing from it, and moving on. Taking the easy way out, which in turn gives you straight destruction. If something is worth having, you have to work for it. For you to appreciate it, you got to put forth that time and effort into it.
That's right.
That's why Israel is so unappreciative and selfish, and they are ungrateful. Because they don't appreciate the things that the Most High has done for them. They don't appreciate the things that their brothers and sisters have done for them. They don't appreciate the time that these brothers and sisters have put in to try to make things easier for us. They want to come at the end game when everything is all established and then have a problem and an issue. Where was you at when we were shooting in the gym, bro?
That's right.
Where was you at when we was putting in the work, sis? But that also goes into that corrupt communication. That defiled bread. It destroys more than it helps. Read.
And the evil man, out of the evil treasure of his heart, bringing forth that which is evil.
That what?
That which is evil.
That what?
That which is evil.
That which is evil. If something evil, man, you don't want to be near it. You don't want to be by it. Ain't nothing positive coming out of evil. Ain't nothing good coming out of bad. Read.
For of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaketh.
Remember, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Read that last part again, bro, from the abundance.
For of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaketh.
So if your mind is corrupt, what you think your mouth gonna speak?
That's right.
If your mind is on the light, what you think your mouth gonna speak?
That's right.
How do you think you gonna operate? How do you think you're gonna deal with situations? It's a thinking man game. And when we're not thinking, we're continuing to hurt ourselves. That's going into that corrupt communication. Give me Psalms 141 and verse 3. Let me get there with you. The book of Psalms, chapter 141 and verse 3. Read that, bro.
The book of Psalms, chapter 141 and verse 3. Set a watch, O Lord.
This is what you need to be crying unto the Most High, man. When you're trying to rebuild, when you're trying to become that better version of yourself, when you want your communication to be better, when you want to be able to grow with your brother and sisters, when you want to be able to grow with your bro, when you want to be able to grow with your wife, when you want to be able to grow with your husband, you want to be able to grow as a family, as a nation. Read.
Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth.
He say, do what?
Before my mouth.
He say, set that watch, man, oh Lord, before my mouth. Read.
Keep the doors of my lips.
He say, do what?
Keep the door on my lips.
They're saying, man, watch your mouth, man. Keep my mouth held. So either I don't say the wrong thing or I don't think the wrong thing. Right. Read.
Incline not my heart to do any evil. Incline my heart to any evil thing.
Read it again, bro. Read it slow.
Incline not my heart to any evil thing.
They say, keep my mind, keep my spirit, keep my mouth, man. Keep it stirred in the light, on that positivity. Don't let it breed that negativity. Don't let it breed that negative energy. Don't let it breed and sow that seed of that corrupt and evil fruit, of that evil tree. Read.
To practice wicked work.
It say, incline not my heart, man, to put those things into practice. Read.
To practice wicked works with men that work iniquity.
That what?
That meet with men that work iniquity.
Read.
And let me not eat of their dainties.
It said, let me not eat. So when you surround yourself with brothers and sisters that don't want to operate in the light, when you surround yourself with brothers and sisters that want to continue to be in the negative, that want to whine, complain, and murmur and babble and busybody all day, what you think? What you think gonna happen with you?
That's right.
It say to keep me from that. Say, hold me. It say from those wicked men, man, from those iniquities. Keep me from eating those dainties. Keep me from eating that defiled bread. Because then what you going to do? You're going to take that defiled bread, you're going to bring that defiled bread home.
That's right.
You're going to bring that defiled bread to your husband. You're going to bring that defiled bread to your wife. You're going to bring that defiled bread to your family. You're going to bring that defiled bread to your business. You're going to bring that defiled bread to your partnership. You're going to bring that defiled bread to your nation, to your congregation. When cancer hit, if you don't cut it out immediately, you're going to have to get rid of everything.
That's right.
When evil hit, it's best to get rid of it immediately. When fires arise, stomp it out. And all of these things stem from either a lack of communication, corrupt communication, or just flat out lying.
That's right.
Give me James 3 and 2. Let me get there with you, boo. Book of James, chapter 3 and verse 2. Read that out.
The book of James, chapter 3 and verse 2. Mm-hmm. For in many things we offend all.
Say, for in many things we offend all. We can offend all, man. In many different facets of things we can offend. Read.
If any man offend, not in words.
Say, if any man offend, not in words. Read.
The same is a perfect man.
Read.
And able also to bridle the whole body.
He said that man is perfect because he can watch his mouth.
Right.
He's not going to say the wrong thing. He's not going to push the buttons to make his wife upset. She's not going to push the buttons to make her husband mad. The brother not going to push the buttons of his brew to cause the brother to not have his eyes up. Cause the brother to have a flex in his spirit to where he can't operate on 100. Cause problems in the business to where now y'all not bringing home the same profit. He said that man is going to be perfect. He's going to watch his mouth because he's going to know what to say, when to say, and how to say it. That's one thing we not doing. We not reining in our mouth. We just letting that mud just fly. And then wonder why we get knocked upside the head. Wonder why things going bad. Wonder why ain't nothing good. Wonder why we got problems after problems. Wonder why we got issue arising after issue. Situation after situation. Nothing going good for you because you can't keep your damn mouth shut. Or you opening your mouth too damn much.
Right.
To the point where you're not even paying attention to what's flying out. Or you're not saying nothing at all. Seeing the problems, the situations, all of these things transpire, seeing the bad, the ill, these things, and you keeping your mouth shut and ain't saying nothing. So that means you condoning it wickedness. That's going to bring about bad situations and problems for you as well. We all got to be on one accord, man. Whether it be in your household, whether it be in your businesses, whether it be in your normal dealings between your brothers and sisters. That corrupt communication is very cancerous.
Right.
Read it again, bro.
The book of James, chapter 3 and verse 2. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body.
And able also to keep his spirit in check. And able also to keep his mouth in check. And able also to have self-control. It's time that we seek that self-control, Israel.
Right.
Give me Proverbs 18 and 13. Let me get there with you, bro. Read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 13. He that answereth the matter before he heareth.
Read it again.
He that answer a matter before he heareth.
He said, he that answer a matter before he heareth. He that fly off the handle before all the information is presented. Right. He that's so quick to open his mouth and disregard what's being said or get defensive because of what's being said and not hearing everything, being able to process all the information. Read.
It is folly and shame unto him.
Think about it. Everybody done been in a situation where somebody was saying something and you jumped the gun before they could finish, and now look at you, your face on the floor.
That's right.
Because you ain't let them finish. Now you ain't got no way to come back. You ain't got no way to fix yourself. You out there embarrassed, face on the floor, jaw drop, hurt, ego hurt, pride hurt, emotions in the uproar because you couldn't hold your mouth.
Right.
You couldn't be patient and hear what's being said so you can answer accordingly. Read it again, bro.
He that answereth a matter before he heareth. It is folly and shame unto him.
Read.
The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit, who can bear?
He said, who can bear it, bro, when you flying off the handle? Who can deal with it, man, when you not listening? When you being impatient, you causing more problems for yourself. That's why I say, watch your mouth. That communication is very important. If you're not taking the time to hear the full scope of the matter, how are you going to have the full report? How are you going to be, especially if you are in a leadership position or in a position to have to judge a matter, how are you going to be able to judge a matter righteously if you don't listen to all of the information? If you don't take everything in as a whole, if you just flying off the handle because you got one half of the story, how are you going to really be able to judge it? That's blood going to be on your hands.
Right.
You judging the matter incorrectly. If you in your household and you're trying to get things established with your relationship between you and your wife, and you're not even finished hearing what she got to say, you immediately shut down what's going on, not realizing your wife then brought a situation to you because things is about to get very dark.
That's right.
Or vice versa. We don't take the time in to really hear what's going on. We hear only to answer and not to actually process the information. We listen enough just to have a comeback, just to have a rebuttal. We don't listen to actually get to the bottom of the issue or the problem and fix it.
That's right.
Or be able to build and grow from what's going on. Communication is very important, man. How we go about it is very important. Give me James 1 and 19. Let me get there with you. The book of James, chapter 1 and 19. Read that, bro.
The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear.
Hold on, he say what?
Let every man be swift to hear.
Remember it said that man that answers before he heareth the matter, right? He said, let every man, let every woman, let every brother, let every sister, let every man, let every husband, let every wife. Read.
Be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath.
He say what?
Slow to speak, slow to wrath.
Man, think about that.
Right.
Right now, in your house, when you and your wife, or you and your husband, if you'd have just took the time to hear out everything, that argument would have never came about.
That's right.
That problem would have never became bigger. That wound would have been able to be closed versus festering under a Band-Aid. That argument, that cuss fight, the yell fighting. Even now, in the world, you and your girl, you just took the time to listen, or she just took the time to listen. The laws wouldn't have had to get involved.
Right.
Somebody wouldn't have feel upset to the point where they would either put hands or got physical, and now somebody got to go to jail. Now somebody brother, somebody people, or somebody kinfolk got to get called to lay hands on somebody. Somebody wouldn't end up dead that night. Somebody wouldn't have ended up in jail. Somebody wouldn't have ended up in tears. Everything would have been cool if we would have just took the time to hear and have patience to understand the information or process the information. And if you don't completely understand what's being said, ask questions to get clarity.
That's right.
Read it again, bro, from the top.
Wherefore, my beloved brother, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not righteousness of God.
He said that wrath of that man and the wrath of woman, it don't work righteousness with God. Read.
Wherefore, lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive the meekness, the engrafted word.
It say, and receive with meekness. Read.
With meekness, the engrafted word, which is able to save your soul.
Which is what?
Able to save your soul.
So if you would have been slow to speak, or if you would have been slow to wrath in that situation, you wouldn't have been looking at your family behind that glass.
That's
you would have
right.
been looking at your family behind that bars. You wouldn't have been having to see your family in tears crying over your body in that casket.
That's right.
You would have still had a loving relationship with your family.
That's right.
You still would have been husband and wife. You still would have been our full family. Now you got a bust hope in your pockets on child support because now she done got bitter and petty. Now she put them peoples on.
That's right.
Communication is very important, and with a lack thereof, there's problems. When there's corrupt communication or defiled bread being passed around, there's problems. Take heed to the message. Give me Ecclesiastes 10 and 11. They say, man, if you just took the time, man, it would have saved your soul. Let me get there with you, bro. Go ahead.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 11. Surely the serpent will bite without enchantment.
It say that serpent gonna bite without enchantment. You ain't gotta entice that snake to bite. You in the vicinity, in the area, that snake gonna bite on will. Read.
And a babbler is no better.
Read that part again.
And a babbler is no better.
When your spirit ain't right, man, that babbling going to that lion. That babbling going into that feeding that defiled bread. It don't take much, man, for you for the spirit that you in to act wicked, to produce that evil. Because it's just in your nature at that point. Just like it's in the nature for that snake to bite, it's in the nature for that wicked spirit to be wicked. It's in the nature of that wicked spirit, bro, to cause problems in the household. It's in the nature of that wicked spirit, man, to cause problems in the congregation. It's in the nature of that wicked spirit, man, to lead the congregation to death. It's in the nature of that wicked spirit, man, to be wicked. Corrupt communication. Read.
The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool.
But the what?
But the lips of a fool.
Read.
Will swallow up himself.
Read.
The beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk is mischievous madness.
Man, how many more examples do you need to realize? Watch your mouth. What you say affects the situation that's going on. What you don't say affects the situation that's going on. How you say it, who you say it to. How you produce that information. How you produce what's going on. We don't take into consideration these things.
That's right.
Something as little as just not saying something altogether or cause your partner to be extremely wroth with anger because it feel like you not listening. It feel like you not taking into consideration my feelings. You're not taking into the consideration of what's going on or how these things have played out and put me in this position. Now it gets into the point where now I feel like I'm not even being loved. What I say don't matter. And then it starts stemming into a whole different bag of things. causing depression, feeling like you're unwanted. It can go completely left.
That's right.
Lack of communication. The foul bread. Even in a business. How do you expect your business to operate on 100 if you're not telling everybody the things that they need to know? If you hiring on somebody new for a job and you don't give them the breakdown and description of their job and the characteristics of what they're doing, how do you expect them to perform the job that you hired them on to?
That's right.
If you expect somebody to be able to grow or to be able to change, you have to show them and give them the guidance and the information they need to grow. So if you're in a position of a father figure or a leadership or some form of guidance, it is very imperative that you are providing the correct information. Because if not, that blood is going to be on your hands. Communication is very important. Let's go back. Give me James 3 and 10. Book of James, chapter 3 and verse 10. Read it when you get there, bro.
The book of James, chapter 3 and verse 10. Out of the same mouth, proceeds blessing and cursing.
They say out of that same mouth, man, you're going to get blessings and you're going to get cursed. Right. Out of that same mouth. Read.
My brother, these things ought not so to be.
It say, man, it shouldn't even be that way. Out of your mouth, you should get blessings. You shouldn't be getting curses. Out of your mouth, you shouldn't be getting both of these things. You should be producing those blessings. Right. You should be able to produce that life. But what we do, we want to give the blessings when we feel like giving the blessings, and give the curses when we feel like giving the curses. We wishy-washy in the truth. We wishy-washy with our partners. We wishy-washy with our brothers and sisters. Read it again, bro.
Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be.
Read.
Do what they found, send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter.
They say, are you going to get at that one fountain sweet water and bitter water? No, you're going to get one, or you're going to get the other. This one fountain is going to give you the sweet. It's going to be a whole other separate fountain that's going to give you another.
Right.
You're not going to get both out of that same fountain. So out of your mouth, you get, oh, today, baby, I love you. And tomorrow, I can't stand you. Or, yeah, man, that's my brew. I'll ride or die. And then tomorrow, man, F that cat. Why? Why is it like that? It said it ought not to be so. Read.
Can the fig tree, my brother, bear olive berries?
It say, can a fig tree bear olive berries? It's in the name, bro. A fig tree. Read, bro.
Either a vine, figs, so can no fountain, both yield salt water and fresh.
So either you are going to be the one that produces that good communication. You're going to be that one that be's that example. You're going to be that one to make things good, to be that one to make things easier. Or you going to be that bro or that sister that's doing nothing but passing defiled bread day in and day out, all day, every day.
That's right.
The brother or sister that's giving out lies like it's open win for you get a call, you get a call, you get a call.
That's right.
It's time, man, to start walking in the light. It's time to truly, if you say you your brother's keeper, if you say you your sister's keeper, man, it's time to start acting that way. If you say you love your wife, or if you say you love your husband, it's time to act that way. Not just in word, but also in doings. Give me Proverbs 15 and 21. Book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 21. Let me get there with you, bro. Go ahead.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 21. Folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom.
They say folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom. Read.
But a man of understanding walketh uprightly.
He said that man of understanding is going to walk uprightly. That man of understanding is going to take into consideration the situation that's transpiring. It's going to take into consideration all of the information. It's going to piece together a clear and concise report. It's going to piece together a clear and concise plan that he can give to his wife, that his wife can give to his husband, that the brother can pass on to leadership, that leadership can pass on to the brethren. These things are going to coincide with each other. Read.
Without counsel, purposes are disappointed.
He say, without that counsel, those purposes are disappointed. Read.
But in the multitude of counselors, they are established.
So when you're dealing with a problem, or you're dealing with an issue, or you got questions, or you're unsure about things, instead of just going off of your own understanding, which for most times lead us down the wrong path, take the time to ask those questions, to get a second sight on the situation you have, to get a different outlook on what's going on. Read.
A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth.
He said, a man hath joy by the answer of his mouth. Read.
And a word spoken in due season, how good is it?
And that's that brother that's watching what he say. That's that brother that's producing that good communication. That's being able to have a full-blown conversation with his rib and things not blow up or go crazy. That's the sister able to have a full communication with her Lord and things not go crazy. That's that brother that's able to have a full-blown communication with his brother and not have an evil eye towards him. This is what we need to be moving towards, man, that good communication. Give me Colossians 4 and 6. Read it when you get there, Bruce.
The book of Colossians, chapter 4 and verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace.
They say, let your speech be always with grace. Let your speech be with positivity, man. Read.
Seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man.
They say, man, that you have thought in what you say, how you say it, so you can speak accordingly to your brothers and sisters. That you can speak accordingly to your wife. That you can speak accordingly to your husband. Watch your mouth. Process the information. Be able to speak and get the things that need to be said out. Get the situations handled. Everybody on the same page. All of the information clear and concise. Everybody understands. Give me Matthew 12 and 36. The book of St. Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 36. Read that.
St. Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 36. But I say unto you,
Yahawashi say unto you, read,
that every idle word that men shall speak,
that every word that men shall speak, read,
they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment.
So if you feed and defile bread, if you're having corrupt communication, if you're being a problem after problem after problem after problem, he say, what, bro? What's that last part? Say, therefore what?
Thereof in the day of judgment.
He say, thereof in the day of judgment, you're going to have to give an account for that. Remember, every knee shall bow and every mouth must confess.
That's right.
So whether you was that good tree producing that good fruit, or you was that corrupt tree producing that corrupt fruit. Read.
For by the word thou shalt be justified.
By what?
For by the word thou shalt be justified.
Read.
And by the word thou shalt be condemned.
So remember, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Again, it's safe. Can that fountain produce fresh water and salt water?
That's right.
It has to be one or the other. Either you're going to be that brew man that finally say, you know what? I'm done living in the darkness. I'm done being that brew man. Time to walk in the light. time to have that good communication. It's time to be able to operate right. Or you gonna be that brute that just say, man, fuck what's going on. I'm gonna continue to do what I want to do, operate how I'm operating, and what it is what it is. And it's a lot of Israel still operating like that. With your fringes on, with your mitri on, with your head wraps and your dresses. It's time that we get all on the same page. Give me Proverbs 25 and verse 8. Let me get there with you. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 8. Go not forth hasty to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof. When thy neighbor hath put thee to shame.
When what?
When thy neighbor hath put thee to shame.
So when your brother hath put thee to shame, when you got a problem going on with your spouse, when you got a problem going on with your rib, right? It say, go not forth hastily, man. But let's get more on it. Read.
Debate thy cause with thy neighbor himself.
It say, do what?
Debate thy cause with thy neighbor himself.
It say, open your mouth and speak, man. Debate. Come to an agreement. Figure out what's going on. Figure out what happened to bring y'all to this point, right? Read.
And discover not a secret to another.
Read.
Lest he that heareth it put thee to shame.
He say, lest he that heareth it put thee to shame. Read.
And thine infamy turn not away.
So let's get why this is saying it. Give me Matthew 18 and 15. Let's get another account of this. Read it when you get there, bro.
The book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee,
cause that shame. Read.
Go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone.
So it say, go and tell. Go and speak. Go and communicate. Don't hold it in. Don't let that wound fester. Don't let that dark spirit come over and now you ain't got no love for your brother no more. You got nothing but hatred towards the bro and you done murdered him in your mind. You got nothing but hatred towards your sister. You ain't got no more love for her. You got murder in your mind. It said, go and speak with him. Read.
If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
They saying he what?
If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. If she shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy sister. If you shall hear your wife, if you shall hear your husband, y'all are going to be on a better page. Read.
But if you will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in thy mouth are of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word may be established.
Read 16 again, bro. Read it slow.
But if you will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word may be established.
So if she don't want to hear, or if he don't want to hear, or if y'all still at odds, man, it say, bring it to the leadership, to their witnesses, right? Read.
And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man.
As a what?
As a heathen man. And a publican.
So if that spirit want to continue to be wicked, even after you yourself or the brother wanted to bear everything out and get everything situated, but you want to continue to be that brute that just don't want to listen or don't care to push things aside and build, or you want to be that sister that don't want to push things aside, or the sister you're dealing with don't want to hear what's going on to be able to make y'all relationship better. They say, man, that wicked spirit gonna get its just due in the end. That's, again, going back to that fresh water, salt water. The mouth producing blessings and the mouth producing curses. Which one are you going to fall? Let's get more on it. Give me Proverbs 15 and 31.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 31. The ear that hears the reproof of life.
Oh, let me say the ear that hears the reproof of life. Read.
Abiding among the wise.
So that's that brother, that sister that takes the information, that hears the situation that y'all come to an agreement, y'all be able to build and grow. Your wife being able to understand, or your husband being able to understand, y'all be able to build and grow, right? Read.
He that refuses instruction.
He that what?
He that refuses instruction.
Read.
Despises his own soul.
So that brother, that sister that want to continue to just be left in the dark, left and operate in that wicked spirit, man, it say, man, it despises his own soul. When you don't want to listen, when you don't want to build, when you don't want to have and live in positivity, man, when you don't want to have that good communication, when you want to continue to operate in that foul spirit, man, he say you despise your own soul. Read.
But he that hears reproof getteth understanding.
He say what?
But he that hears reproof getteth understanding.
But man, when you operate in that light, man, you're going to get to understand. Y'all going to be able to build and grow. You're going to gain that brother. You're going to gain that sister. You're going to have a stronger relationship with your wife. You're going to have a stronger relationship with your husband. This communication, man, is very, very important. Give me Proverbs 25 and 11. Read that, Bruce.
Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 11. A word fitly spoken.
He said a word fitly spoken. Read.
Is like apples of gold and pictures of silver.
It's like the good things, man. It's like the treasures. Words that are fitly spoken. The things that need to be said to the people that need to hear them, to where all things are good, man. It's going to be good. It won't be no issues. Won't be no confusion. Won't be no drop balls. Won't be no breaches. Won't be no upset spirits. Won't be nothing bad, man, because everything is fitly spoken. Everything is joined together. Everything is on the same page. Everybody is operating good.
That's right.
We coming to a close. Give me 1 Peter 3 and 8. Let me get there with you, bro. 1 Peter 3 and 8. Read that, bro.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 8. Finally, be ye all of one mind.
He say, finally, be ye all of one mind. Read.
Having compassion one of another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful. Be courteous.
And that's what happens, man, when you have that line of communication where everything is good. That positive communication, man, you're able to show that compassion to your brother. You're able to show that compassion to your sister. You're able to show that compassion to your household, to your wife, to your husband. Read.
Not rendering evil for evil.
Not what?
Rendering evil for evil.
Not being petty, man. Not pulling old situations that y'all claim that y'all have gotten over and y'all bringing back to the situation. Not being that brew that's continuing to bring up old situations with his brother because you felt like you were still slighted and nothing was wrong. No situation was really brought to the bottom. Well, did you open up your mouth and say it?
That's right.
Well, did you say, man, it still ain't sitting right with me? Or did you just be like, Con, and keep it moving? When you don't heal the wound, when you just keep putting a Band-Aid over it and letting it fester and fester and fester, it's going to continue to blow up in your face. That's that destruction we talked about earlier, man. That is corrupt communication. If at the end of the day, if it said, do both parties understand or do both parties accept what's going on, and you in your spirit, in your mind, and you know for sure you don't, and you say, Con, that's on you. You brought this about on yourself because you ain't open your mouth. Passing the foul bread of that corrupt communication, man. Read it again, bro.
Not rendering evil for evil.
Not being petty, which is something that Israel loved to do. Read.
For railing, but contraries blessing, knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should inherit a blessing.
He say, man, don't render that evil for evil, that railing for railing, but contrary. Be wise with the blessings, man. Be of good. Show that light. Read.
For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil.
Let him what?
Refrain his tongue from evil.
That's that corrupt communication. That's those bad dealings. That's that defiled bread. He said, let him refrain from it. Let him keep himself from it. Read.
And his lips that they speak no God.
Read.
Let them eschew evil.
He said, let them disregard, man. Let them hate that evil. Read.
And no good.
And what?
And do good.
And what?
And do good.
Read.
Let them speak peace.
Read it again, bro.
Let them seek peace.
Read.
And ensue it. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil.
Is what?
Against them that do evil.
So remember, death and life is in the power of that tongue. So if you want to continue to spew that death, you want to continue to spew that evil, man, you're going to have to take that up with the Most High. Every knee shall bow, every mouth going to confess. You are going to be judged from what you've done, from what you said, from how you operated, from how you acted. So if you continuing to be that brother, or be that sister, or be that husband, or be that wife, and want to continue to operate in the darkness, man, it's a terrible thing to be in the hands of the Most High. It's a frightening and terrible thing. Give me Ephesians 4:29, and we're going to end it there. Let me get there with you now. Read that.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth.
He said, let not that corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, man. Remember, there's a consequence for everything that you do and everything that you don't do. Everything that you say, everything that you don't say. Read it again.
Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good.
But what?
But that which is good.
But that which is good, but that which can be built upon, which that can gain your brother, but that can gain your sister, with that can gain a healthy relationship with your wife, that can gain a healthy relationship with your husband. Read.
To the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
Man, it's time, man. It's time to unplug our ears, start listening, man. It's time to start using our mouth when things aren't good, when things aren't going right, when we see things not going right. It's time to open our mouths and fix the issue. Stop just sitting on our hands, man, and letting things fester. Not just pushing things to a side and expecting things to fix themselves. You got to open your mouth. And you also got to know when to shut your mouth. Communication is very important. And on that, we say shalom.
Oh.